Good evening. How are you? I'm checking on something that I'm trying tonight. We'll see how it works. A little nervous. It's supposed to be working. I don't know the delay. And I'm looking at it now, and I don't think I've been successful. Oh, there we go. Now, I got to make sure that... Can you hear me? All right. I got a weird thing where I had some feedback and I had to fix that. Hopefully everything's good now. And yeah. So it is strange because there's such a delay. But I've been wanting to be on Rumble for long time. I've been a little bit nervous about getting booted from YouTube because I don't know exactly the rules. They seem to change depending on what goes on, and I'm just not used to it. So the problem has always been with my live stream and everything. I mean, I'm only at 155 subscribers. By the way, I picked up one today on YouTube. I'm not even monetized, and so I mean, my show is a very, very small space, and so I could never get to 25 subscribers on Rumble. Now, most nights you can see me at my own website, the Deerwood Realty and Friends podcast site, but I haven't been able to update it today, and yesterday I didn't update it, so I'm not doing well on that. I'm glad I have another platform. Now if something goes south, I have somewhere to go. So you can always find me. You should always be able to find me now on Twitter, at the Deerwood Realty live stream. I'm also at Deerwood Realty. I don't put the Deerwood Realty live stream on the Deerwood Realty Twitter channel because some people don't like that stuff. They don't want to watch it. It annoys them, and I don't like to annoy people. So that's why I do it there. The way I knew I was going to have trouble on Rumble because I wasn't going to have access to the chat. It has its own screen. It doesn't mix with StreamYard, and so then, just because I had to buy a new computer anyway, I bought that monitor thing, and now I've got the monitor up for Rumble so I can actually watch. Thank God. I can see some people watching. Thank you all. And I got it to work. I should have done a test stream, but I was doing 4 other things, and I didn't get to it today. But look, I don't have it all together. I don't have it perfect yet. It's probably never going to be perfect. But just since, say, the beginning of the month, look at how far we've come. We've got Rumble up and running now. I've got a chat bot in YouTube that I'm still kind of working on. I don't have it set up perfectly yet because I just started today. We've got a decent microphone. We've got a decent camera. I feel like the picture's much, much better. Now all we need is the subscribers, and we're getting those. So, I don't know. It's going better. There are days where I wake up and it's like, what the hell are you doing? Why did you start this stuff? Why do you want to be on YouTube? And I wanted to be on YouTube because there's so much BS in real estate. It's hard to deal with. And there's so many things that go wrong. And I just felt like there needed to be a place that we can talk about it without all the I don't know how to explain it, the oddities. Like I just wanted things to be real. I'm tired of things being fake. So anyway, 4 minutes in, I haven't even introduced myself. My name is John Schenk. I'm the founder and managing broker of Deerwood Realty in St. Louis, Missouri. We're a small real estate firm. It's just me. And I help buyers buy homes and sellers sell theirs. At night, usually 9 o'clock weeknights, we do the Deerwood Realty live stream. On the weekends, it's a little dicey, and there are nights where I'm working. I've got to do contracts and things like that, and I don't get to a live stream. Tonight was one of those nights. I was going to write a contract tonight. The only reason why I'm not writing one right now is because the listing agent told me, hey, we're not going to accept any offers tonight, so you don't have to worry. it's a strange night in St. Louis. If you've been out, if you're like around here, like, I don't know, like, we're going to get into it. Look, when I was a kid, you just went and did things. Like, the weather wasn't a part of it, okay? Like, it just wasn't. If there was like a fair, okay, like a fair, like a summer thing, say 4th of July celebration, you would go to this 4th of July celebration. It didn't matter if it was 200 degrees outside, okay? It didn't matter if when you were there, people were passed out and falling over and you know, I don't know what they do when they fall over, but it didn't matter, okay? If there was a rodeo, I've never been to a rodeo in St. Louis, but I'm saying if there was one, you would go to it. Like, I like to watch the dirt track cars go around down in Peevely, the double nickel. Anyway, I-55 Raceway. You would go. You'd go. Now, I've been down there on days where it's so hot and the aluminum bleachers are so hot that they're reflecting so much light that my face is sweating. Now, for me, that's a big, I mean, like, I already have, you know, I'm bald. I can tell that. I mean, it's not new. But the amount of just sweat and just nasty, like, on your face, So that's where I'm from. That's what I understand. And when we, like, as we've gone on, like, it's just gotten weird. Today, we literally canceled plans, like the school, like, that my stepdaughter goes to. They canceled afternoon activities because of a chance of a thunderstorm, a severe thunderstorm. And, you know, I get, like, what happens if a kid gets injured, okay? Or you get injured going to get your kid. I get it. But my God, we've gotten to the point now where I'm like, a strong thunderstorm keeps you from doing things. Now, for me, like, in the real estate world, I go out whenever somebody wants to see a house. If it's snowing, we're going. I mean, I don't want to, but we will. Normally, my buyers are smarter, and they're like, we shouldn't go. Tonight, I mean, thunderstorm, we're going. We're going. It's not like, I don't know. It's strange. Like, you just go to work, and you just go to school, and look, I think everybody likes to have the day off. But the other thing is that I remember in school, at least, is we used to have, like, you would go to school, and then if it snowed that day, like, it didn't matter what the forecast was, you would go to school, and then if it did end up snowing and the roads were getting bad, they would call school. So there's that. Tonight it's raining. I'd like to show a house, but I showed a house last night, and we're going to write an offer tomorrow, and that's the way it is. I'm a little bit disappointed. I have my, well, look, let's do this a couple ways. First of all, we got Rumble, okay? That was a big deal. Now, it started with, I don't leave the view counts because it freaks me out. I don't like to see people watching me. And so on the Deerwood Realty Rumble, there were like 3 people watching, and I got nervous. I don't like to see that. I'm going to have to get I have a piece of tape that I put over the view count. And it's a delay. So whenever we're chatting, okay, it's probably the exact same on YouTube. So I run everything through StreamYard, and then it goes out to everything else. And so now when I look at myself, I'm talking, but it's like delay. And it also did the sound thing. But look, we have to be proud of where we've gone today. Like, this is a momentous occasion. We are now streaming on Rumble. We're streaming on YouTube. We're not streaming on Odyssey because I don't know why. I don't know if you need followers or what. I'm going to go see. Not that anybody goes to Odyssey anymore anyway. Let's see real quick. I got to be careful. I mean, we've got cameras running. So, I don't know. On Odyssey, it looks like it would be a little bit dicey. I don't know. There's so much to figure out in this space. I'm just going through stuff. It's Friday afternoon or Friday evening. We should kind of calm down a little bit. That's what I'm telling myself. Okay. All right. So that's that. Now I think I can concentrate. I think we've got a pretty decent show tonight. There's 3 articles that I'm pretty excited about. We're going to talk about there's one heavy brokerage one. There's one about home buying demand increasing. Now we've talked about mortgage applications going down. So what does this mean? And then we're going to talk about the mansion tax in Los Angeles. In California. I'm very fascinated by this. California is a strange place to me as it is. I'm not sure I understand the point. It was such a like when I was growing up, it was supposed to be such a beautiful place, but now apparently it's not. They've decided that they're going to do a mansion tax, and that's going to go help the homeless. So you punish the wealthy to fix the homeless problem. It's never going to get fixed that way. Very odd, but whatever, right? So we've got that, and then we're going to talk about real estate etiquette. Real estate etiquette. I'm going to talk about some tweets, and we're going to start off because I don't want to screw things up and forget it, which I do all the time. If you go to my YouTube shorts, you will see a new short that I just put up around 6 o'clock, and it was raining here at 6. I was down at my parents' house, and there was a squirrel that had jumped on the tire of my car while it was storming. I don't know if I can do it. If I can, I'm going to see if I can do it. Let me see. If I can, I will do it. I should be able to, right? Okay. Let's see how this goes. Oh, there is. I see the little squirrel there? I don't know if I can. No, I can't really. But there's a little squirrel there. And see how he's just like hanging out underneath the storm? In my tire? Like, how did he know that that'd be a good place to hang out and avoid the rain? I mean, it was really coming down. I didn't want to go. But you got this little squirrel. Now, let me do it one more time just because. See? Now, a normal stream of mine, or a normal short of mine on YouTube will get maybe, I would say about, well, I've been running about right around 300 views total, which is terrible. Now, I think this one already has 150 views in the first hour. So, yeah, there's that. I mean, I thought that would be good. Anyway, I'm not doing well with my transitions tonight. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to get things. I'm not used to having like, I don't know, so much going on. Okay. Let me tell you a story. It's not going on any current deals I have. Okay. Let's put that disclaimer out there, but here we go. I wanted to buy a house. I am the buyer's agent. I wanted to talk to the listing agent to find out, do they have any offers, by asking them directly, do you have any offers in hand? And two, what are you doing with the offers? Are you making them, all of them are due at a certain time and we'll make our decision? Are you taking an offer early and going to accept that one first? What are your plans? Okay. And, that was the most important thing. And back in the day, you literally called the other agent, you called them on the phone and you talked to them and you tried to come up with some way to come to some sort of mutual agreement. Like, hey, my buyers are strong buyers. You should pick them, and then like, if you didn't get along with the listing agent, it's like, I don't know if this is such a good deal. Now, like, I call an agent, I don't get anything. Like how you can list a house and be working for a seller and not have the courtesy to call an agent back who calls you. This has happened on multiple deals. And I'm not trying to pump agents for information that's like illegal or anything. I'm not trying to get an inside track. I'm just trying to get an understanding of what the game is that's being played so I can get my buyers to be able to buy the home. And it used to be, they'd call you back within, half hour. No big deal. Now, a call, leave a voicemail. Even if it's, I wouldn't say if it's an agent I know, but I know of, nothing. 2 hours or so later, I'll text because I need the information. If I'm writing an offer, I need to know what am I up against? And again, like nothing. So I text again, leave voicemails, text, all this stuff. And understand, I list houses, okay? I know what their job is. And most of these agents listing houses aren't listing like 50 houses at a time. They're lucky if they get one a month. So the idea that you can't bother to call me back so that I can do the best job I can possibly do for my client and the best job you could possibly do for your client is beyond sad. Now, I've had 2 deals, well, 3. The last 3 deals I've done, I've never talked to the listing agent on the phone. And you say, well, John, you're an old man. We don't use phones anymore. It's bullshit. There's no way you can tell me that there's no way you got that listing as an agent by not talking to the person. It's crazy to me. And so that got me to think, like, I would never not call someone. And I'll tell you something. I once had a listing. It was a hot listing, lots and lots of interest in the property. And and I had it was like 30 offers. And one of the agents called me and he's like, hey man, I just wanted to tell you, I went through my email and I saw that you asked me about a property and I never called you back and I never, and I want to say, I'm really, really sorry. I was really, really sick and I had the flu. And I couldn't call you back, but please don't hold that against me when I submit an offer for my buyers. I thought that's pretty slick. Because as an agent, you remember these things. You remember when people aren't calling you back. You remember agents that say they're going to do one thing and then they do something else. It just stays in the back of your mind, just way back here. And you don't always know, like you'll remember the name and then you'll go and you'll figure it out. You maybe check your email, check your text and go, oh, that's who that was. And so I just find it appalling. And I wanted to go over it. We have the realtor. It's this thing. It's like a code of conduct or something. It's how to be like a professional real estate agent. And it comes through the National Association of Realtors. I wanted to get that for you. I wanted to start with that tonight. Let's go over and see if in my business, my experience, if I've actually done these things wrong, or like what's going on. Okay. All right. So I'm going to get it to you guys right here. Oh man. All right. False alarm. I was on the wrong page. Okay. This should be better. Then I got to go back here for just a second to make sure it looks decent. Which do you prefer? Do you prefer that one or this one? Let's just do this one. It's a little bit easier for me. And we'll go over this. It's funny to me because I'm starting to see websites from like a long time ago. Okay, this was written in 2021 and it says, professional courtesy is golden. So yeah, it's called the Pathways to Professionalism. It says, this is a great time to remind everyone about the importance of professional courtesy with an easy checklist called the Pathways to Professionalism shown below. These professional courtesies are intended to be used by realtors on a voluntary basis and go above and beyond the code of ethics. Sometimes it's the little things that can make you stand out. So let's get into it. It says respect for the public. I like this stuff. And I want to go over it anyway because I get asked these questions and I don't know. It's kind of funny. So there's respect for the public. And the realtors have this. I could have pulled it from the realtors, but it's just, I don't know, try to help out a little brokerage somewhere. Number one, follow the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them done unto you. Well, I try, especially if they've done me wrong. Then I definitely do. 2, respond promptly to inquiries and requests for information. This has been a hot topic lately. Please return emails and calls in a respectful and courteous manner. Absolutely. Like, look, if you're busy, like you have, your life is going on, right? It's happening. It's totally okay. It's totally okay to, call me back later, text me and say, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Sometimes I'm working late at night. It's like 11 o'clock at night. I'll get an inquiry from a client. It's a little too late to be calling them. I don't feel comfortable. So I will, I'll send them an email and say, look, I'll get you in the morning. I saw your text, but I don't want to bother you. But that's to the public. That's apparently not to any of the real estate agents back and forth. So, okay. So then number 3, schedule appointments and showings as far in advance as possible. Another one that we're hearing a lot, buyers agents making appointments and not attending showings with their clients because they're too busy, but also not advising the selling agent who's also too busy and no realtor shows up to conduct the showing. Communication, folks, is the answer to all your woes. Well, look, that's never happened to me. I've had buyers agents be so busy that they say, hey man, are you going to be at the house at any point in time? I could send my buyers along. Yeah, sure. If I'm listing the house, sure. I don't mind. But what I'll normally do then is I'll package them all together. So like, say there's 4 other agents that can't show the house of their own clients. I send them all through at one time. I say, here's one it's going to be. And I think real estate agents appreciate that. I don't ever go and try and pick off clients of somebody else's because it's just not who I am. I try not to be slimy. And I totally understand because I'm a real estate agent and there's been times where I'll be on vacation or something and it's just like, I'm not going to be able to show this one house to these buyers. But normally in the past, it used to be, I had Jan, my assistant. And so, Jan would be home and so she could show the house. Now it's me by myself. I don't even know what I would do. Well, I do know exactly what I do. I'd call Robert. my other real estate agent friend, but he's in a different brokerage, and I would have to pay him part of the commission if a house went under contract. And that's kind of rough because I don't want to be sitting there thinking, hey, I don't want you to buy a house this weekend that you really, really want because I'm going to have to eat some of my commission. So I don't like that. Call if you're delayed or must cancel an appointment or showing. I always cancel showings that I don't go to. That's just obvious to me. And then if I'm delayed, it depends. It depends on how long. For instance, if I'm like, say I'm showing 10 houses to the same buyers and they happen to look at one longer than they look at another one, sometimes that will be off a little bit. Sometimes there's traffic issues, stuff like that. If I'm like within a half hour, 45 minutes, I'm not changing it. It says, if a prospective buyer decides not to view an occupied home, promptly explain the situation to the listing broker or the occupant. I don't know what that means. I suspect that means like if you walked up to the front door and the seller was still there, then you have to come up with some excuse why you're not showing it. I've had sellers be at houses. It's no big deal. I mean, it's not great. Communicate with all parties in a timely fashion. Going to be late, let everyone know. I'll normally send it, like, it's impossible for me to be on time to every single showing. I normally send a text that just says, hey, the GPS says it's going to be this time. I'll be there. Normally it's within 5 minutes. I also tell my buyers, look, I'm going to be early sometimes. I'm going to be late others. Give me the benefit of the doubt. I'll do the same for you because I guarantee you, like if I'm showing like 5 houses, I'm going to be late in one of the 5, like say over 5 days. It's going to happen. I'm sorry. I was going to cough. When entering a property, ensure that unexpected situations like pets are handled appropriately. So here's how do I say this? I don't ever see dogs that aren't on a leash or aren't put in a kennel or aren't taken out when I show the house. Cats, however, people leave their cats out and they assume that the cats are going to be friendly or that the cats are going to like not try to make a bolt for the door. Do you know one of my biggest fears is having to call an agent on the buyer side and say, hey, the cat got out and I couldn't catch him. He was too fast. I'm 45 years old. I'm not in the best of shape. I'm overweight by at least, I'm going to say 10 pounds, but honestly, it's a lot more than 10 pounds. I can't catch a cat. Okay. That cat starts running out the door, I'm toast. And I feel bad because what happens if the cat never comes back, all this stuff. It's weird. And I don't know why is it incumbent on me to take care of the cat? It's like, you should take care of the cat. It's your cat. No, and I don't hate cats. Just saying. Never criticize the property in the presence of the occupant. Well, did you know now with Ring cameras and all the other cameras, that pretty much people are watching you the entire time you're in the house. And sometimes they're just watching to see if they would actually, actually sell to you. I was at a house just recently. There was a piano and there was a camera pointed at the piano. And on the piano, there was a sign that says, do not touch the piano. It wouldn't surprise me in any way if the sellers were watching that film, watching that video, and the first person to touch the piano, they would just say, we're not selling to that person. Wouldn't surprise me a bit. People are very, very strange, very, very fickle. And in that situation, I wouldn't surprise me at all. Then it says, inform occupants that you are leaving after showings. Again, not cool. When showing an occupied home, always ring the doorbell or knock and announce yourself loudly before entering. Knock and announce yourself loudly before entering any closed room. I have walked in on people sleeping. Thank God that's all they were doing. I always like, hey, real estate agent, realtor, if I have an inkling. But as far as when it's occupied, I don't always know that they're occupied. So anyway, 11, this is another one. This is fun. Present a professional appearance at all times, dress appropriately, and drive a clean car. Now, I see agents, like a lot of times, they will wear things that are completely inappropriate. Women in general, I mean, like, have you ever seen a prom dress? That's probably not the right thing to be showing a house in. I'm just saying. Drive a clean car. My car sometimes, I live underneath, my house is, there's a tree right next door, and the birds just take their time on my car. It's pretty terrible. I try to keep it as clean as possible, but I mean, if it's like one day where the birds are in the tree, it's bad. Fascinating. It says, if occupants are home during showings, ask their permission before using the telephone or bathroom. So when is the last time you've ever seen a landline in a house? So you can tell when this was written. And as far as like the bathroom thing, that's dicey. I don't like to use somebody else's bathroom. I just think it's disrespectful. I have clients all the time use the bathrooms and where we're at, and I'll be like, I don't think you should. And it's weird. It's an awkward situation. It's kind of like, you should know better. You should know better. I just want to check the chat just in case. Okay. Got a cough. I coughed in my hand and the microphone. Apologies. Encourage the clients of other brokers to direct questions to their agent or representative. That's true. Like, I don't want to be negotiating directly with a buyer if I'm the listing agent, because I don't think that's fair. Somebody that is actually, like, you're paying someone to do your negotiation for you, so you should probably use them. So I typically would not. I mean, I'll answer general questions like how many bedrooms, 3. How many bathrooms, 2. What's the lowest price the seller will take on this home? I'm not answering that one. Communicate clearly. Don't use jargon or slang that may not be readily understood. It depends on who it is. I have young people that I take out and they tell me all kinds of new slang, and I really, really appreciate it. And so I will put out my slang from when I was in high school, and then we have a good laugh. Be aware of and respect cultural differences. I mean, okay. Show courtesy and respect to everyone. Okay. I mean, that doesn't seem hard. Be aware of and meet all deadlines. Okay. Promise only what you can deliver and keep your promises. Okay. This is to the public. I don't know what you'd be promising I don't know what you'd be promising. Identify your realtor and professional status in contacts with the public. I'm a realtor. Do not tell people what you think. Tell them what you know. Well, you know what? I don't know much, and I don't believe in much. So I don't think that's going to work. I tell them what I think. I think this would be a nice house for you. I don't think this house is a good fit for you. If I were to say, I know this is not a good house, this house is not a good fit for you, and they think it is, then they might say, you know what? I know we don't want to use you as a real estate agent. Respect for property. Be responsible for everyone you allow to enter listed property. Well, so like if it's not listed, it's okay to not be responsible. To never allow your buyers to enter listed property unaccompanied. I believe that one. That's true. When showing property, keep all members of the group together. Impossible. Impossible. If you have a husband and a wife and they've been together for like 20 years, the husband goes in his own direction and the wife goes in the other. You're one person. You're only going to be able to pick one. Normally, I just choose whoever likes to talk to me. Just go with that person. And then I let the other person, we don't do well in groups. Let's put it that way. I just thought I saw something. Got to check it out. Oh. Sorry. Enter property only with permission, even if you have a lockbox key or combination. This is a big one. Just last week, I had an agent call me and she's like, why are you already at the property? You're 45 minutes early. I said, it's not me. I'm not at the property. She's like, but you're the only person that I approved to go into the property. I said, not me. I'm showing houses in Baldwin. And the agent was just upset. How could someone go into a house without being approved? What happens is, look, I don't know. There is a lack of respect. I'll try to explain it. I'll try to explain it like this. If you're a real estate agent and you mark a property down like low and you get what you wanted, which was all kinds of people to run through the house, don't be surprised if agents aren't checking in, if they're handing off the key to somebody else and not putting it in the lockbox. Don't be surprised, because just the amount of time it would take for people to keep taking it out of the lockbox is ridiculous. Most agents have things to do. Most buyers have things to do. You got what you wanted. You wanted everybody to go through the house. Deal with it. When the occupant is absent, leave the property as you found it. Lights, heating, cooling, drapes. If you think something is amiss, contact a listing broker immediately. Well, I once had a time when I opened, like there was a door to the house, okay? I opened the door, and when I opened the door, on the floor, there was glass everywhere, little pieces of glass. I called the agent immediately. I said, hey, the door is just blown up. And she said, really? I said, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but this is like, you might want to do something. And she's like, oh, okay. Well, thank you. Anytime something seems off, I like to tell the other agent, because it's like, it just seems like the right thing to do. Now, lights, heating, cooling, drapes. I've never touched the heating and cooling in any house. That's not my deal. Lights, it depends on what the agent says. Sometimes they'll text me and say, hey, you're the last person to go through the house at night. Will you please turn off the lights? If I have my own listing, if I'm listing a property, I set the showings to end at 8 o'clock. And then at 8:15, I go over to the house and I start making sure all the lights are off, and I want to make sure that the floors are clean. I want to make sure the house looks good for the next day of showings. That's what you're going to get from me. It's not what you're going to get from a lot of agents, because they don't care. They really don't care about your house. Be considerate of the seller's property. Do not allow anyone to eat, drink, smoke, dispose of trash, use bathing or sleeping facilities, or bring pets. Leave the house just as you found it unless instructed otherwise. So do not allow. Now, what's weird is some houses have like water out, and they also have like candy out. This one house I got under contract had chocolate covered coffee beans, and I hate coffee, and I didn't know, but they were out there, and so I thought they were raisins. Dispose of trash. Haven't seen that one. Smoking isn't that big where I'm at. Use bathing or sleeping facilities. Can you imagine? Can you imagine watching somebody? And it's a weird thing for me. I don't know if I'm a germaphobe or what, but I don't like to touch other people's things in general. And so like the idea that I would ever, like, if someone's got their bed there, you think I'd ever lay on someone else's bed in a showing? And that's just gross. Use sidewalks. If the weather is bad, take off shoes and boots inside the property. Definitely, I would do that unless, again, the listing agent has been disrespectful by pricing the property stupid low, and there's just a freight train of people going through the house. Then I don't care. Then you've pissed me off. Respect sellers' instructions about photographing or videographing their property's interiors or exteriors. I don't know who that's for. I will take pictures of things that are amiss, and then I will hold them, or things that I like. I saw a goldfish pond one time, or a koi pond outside. It looked great. I think I want to put it in my backyard. Videographing isn't cool, but the word videographing is hilarious because, like, who does that? It's just a weird word. It's kind of old. Respect for peers. Here's what I wanted to get to. Here's what I hadn't gotten to. Okay, number one, identify your realtor and professional status in all contacts with other realtors. So my phone call, like when I leave a voicemail, is, hey, this is John Schenk with Deerwood Realty. If they can't figure out I'm a real estate agent from that, then they're not that sharp. I'm interested in such and such property. And actually, hey, this is John Shing at Deerwood Realty, 314. I give my phone number. And then I say, hey, I'm interested in your listing at X address. And then I say, would you please give me a call back? Again, my number is this. That's what I do. Now, when I go through showing, sometimes there'll be somebody else showing the house, and then they'll say, are you the agent? Normally they know that I'm the agent because I'm dressed like a professional, and my clients aren't because they're just looking at houses. So that's not really a problem. Then it says, respond to other agents' calls, faxes, and emails promptly and courteously. Again, this was written in 2013 or revised in 2013. If someone sends me a fax, okay, first of all, I wouldn't know how to receive one. Second of all, I'm not sending one back, okay? Like faxes, I'm done with faxes, okay? And then I think that it's fair to respond to other agents' texts as well. It just depends on the medium. To me, there's like a rule, like if you call me, okay? Like if you call me, I'll call you back. If you email me, I'll email you back. And if you text me, I'll text you back. The one thing on text that I've learned, like just in my interactions is, like, you have to tell me who you are. I get a random phone number and somebody asking me, I don't know who you are. I don't know if you're an agent. I don't know if you're a client. I don't know what's going on. And so I need that information. Be aware that large electronic files with attachments or lengthy faxes may be a burden on recipients. Depends on, like if somebody sends me over a relocation packet and it's like, I don't know, 60 pages. Not cool, dude. Notify the listing broker if there appears to be inaccurate information on the listing. I don't know about that. Share important, because why would you be the first one to notice? Share important information about a property, including the presence of pets, security systems, and whether the sellers will be present during the showing. I agree with all those. Specifically, let me know if the sellers are going to be there. Let me know. I'm totally okay with that. And then if there's pets, let me know. And security systems, 100%. My biggest fear is, and you'll see it about twice a year, there'll be an article somewhere over online about an agent being arrested at a showing because they think it's a burglar. So we don't want that. I do not want to be arrested. It says, show courtesy, trust, and respect to other real estate professionals. It depends. If you come at me, first of all, I don't trust anyone. Like, I really don't. I trust my wife. But the rest of the people, a little sketchy. And then the respect thing goes both ways. If you're a real estate agent, okay, say you're a buyer's agent and you got something on a contract and you have your assistant call me who's not a licensed agent and try to negotiate something with me, I will not act respectfully because you've not given me the respect I deserve by taking your time to call me. Just know that that's what's going to happen. If I get some email from an assistant, I don't care. I don't care about your assistant. I don't care how great you are. I'm not dealing with it. Okay. That's just me. If you're a real estate agent, you call me and I'll call you. We'll negotiate together. You want to have your assistant call me and then try to negotiate? It's not going to go well. Avoid the inappropriate use of endearments or other denigrating language. I suspect it's like honey, miss, ma'am. I'll do a yes, ma'am. I don't know. It's not on purpose. It slips. Do not prospect at other realtors' open houses or similar events. I think that's funny. They call it prospecting. I don't know. Return keys promptly. I agree with that. Carefully replace the keys in the lockbox after showings. I have accidentally locked keys in a building before. I called the agent immediately and said, hey, I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. To be successful in the business, mutual respect is essential. There's some agents I just despise. Like, they've gotten under my skin. I just can't stand them, and I don't want to even be in the deal with them. So I don't know about that. And then Real estate is a reputation business. What you do may affect your reputation in business for years to come. I'm on the live stream every night. I mean, you'll figure it out. You'll figure out who I am. So the reputation thing, I think, is used as a hammer to frighten agents all the time. And a reputation is earned. But at the same time, like if I did a deal with you 6 years ago, I don't necessarily remember the deal or you. And that's the last time we talked. This is Deerwood Realty website. What are we at with interest rates? That's the thing I'm looking at. We're at 6.57%. That's better than yesterday when we were at 6.59%. I'd like to be 5.5%. And you know that. I've said that over and over again. 5.5% would be a great number, balanced number. But we're not going to get it. We're going to get this huge swing. We're either going to get interest rates coming down and then house prices shooting back up, or we're going to get house prices going straight down with mortgage rates going straight up. Now, I'm confessing to you, I did something wrong in the way I set stuff up. So all these things need to be over here. I'm doing it while you're watching, and so you'll know what's on the next thing. But let's get into the Twitter. I thought this was interesting. This is from Ryan Lundquist. It says they're an appraiser in Sacramento. That's why it says Sacramento appraiser. Anyway, this is interesting to see listings like this priced significantly lower than recent comps. This is listed on the MLS, but offers go through an auction. The seller doesn't have to accept the highest offer, though. So it's not a strict offer. The buyer or strict auction, the buyer pays 3% on top of the price also. And that's important to note. A lot of people see these properties and they're like, John bid on this. John bid on it. We got to bid on this. And it's like, by the time you end up buying this property, you're going to pay more than what you could have just bought it for, what a similar property for at a good price. Then it's an update here. It says the seller listed at $349K. The top bid was $641K, but the bidding period ended without an accepted offer. The seller doesn't have to accept. The property is now listed for $699K as a traditional MLS listing. I'm anxious to see what it actually closes for. Now look, on $699, let's assume, and you can't see this, but oh my God. Let's just do this. Your commission's darn near $40,000 to both sides, not, like together. So if that's the case, now this may be a different market. They should have just taken they shouldn't have taken the 641, but they're probably right at, they think they're going to get about 660. And then under here it said, and this is what kills me about the Zillow estimate or the Zestimate. It says, the Zestimate last week matched the list price at $349K, and the Zestimate this week matched the list price at $699K. I don't see any record of the $349 Zestimate other than a circle to show it was listed at that amount. And then this fellow writes, part one, I'm not the listing agent, but I've used this platform. Here's how it works. List the property, 33% of the anticipated sales price. Market 11 days with 4 open houses. Generate many bidders on online bids. Winning bidder adds 3% premium to their top bid. And then here's one that says, he says, thanks. I think there's room in real estate for different models. You shared a success story with this model, so there's certainly a place for it. In this example, I wonder why the seller didn't walk away at 660, adding 3%, anxious to see the final outcome. I really, and then this Tracy writing, we don't get along all the time, but she wrote, were they just trying to gauge the price? How rude. That is annoying. It's quite possible. It's quite possible. Like currently in the town I live, in the city I live, there's a house that's been listed really, really low. And I already had somebody call me on it, and they're like, John, let's go. We got to go buy this right now. We got to go buy this right now. And I was like, it's going to go for double what it's listed for, because everyone and their brother is going to run over there and say, oh, I need to buy this house. Also a very ugly house. I'd have to take a shower afterwards. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, Lance Lambert, he's at Fortune magazine. He follows me, so I feel pretty big time. Nationally, there's not a lot of inventory on the market, and so here it might be hard to see. Let me make sure you can see if you're looking. Okay. Like we're right here, March 2023, in the green. Typically, we see lower inventory this time of the year, and it picks up in April. But you can see we're still low. This first line is 2022, and the second line is 2021. And certainly in May of last year and the year before, it was terrible. Terrible. I mean, like scary. Low inventory. Right now, very low inventory. And what do I mean by low inventory? It means it's not necessarily the number of houses for sale. It's the number of good houses for sale. Okay. There's a lot of crappy stuff that comes to the market. And by crappy, I mean pretty much estates. It means or they're going into the nursing home. And then but they still list it for like market price, like what a nice house would go for in that neighborhood. So it's not good inventory. Also, there is low inventory. There's no question. That just adds to it. Jeff Weniger, 941,000 multifamily units under construction, ready to hit a market that is continuing with a 6.32 mortgage rate, with bank lending standards tightening past post SVP. I suspect we'll have to contend with this tough residential real estate market for some time. And so, yeah, if the multifamily housing units, like if they keep adding more, okay, it's going to be tough. This is fun. I don't know if you can see this well enough on your screen. Let me see if I can make it bigger because I'm just trying to, it's fun. You see it this way. It says Silicon Valley 5K. Silicon Valley Bank was the bank that ate it about 2 weeks ago. First annual bank run. And they got the thing. Do you get that? I thought that was funny. Then housing bubble disrespecter put, noticing a weird trend. The only people bullish are people working in real estate who have lives that depend on it turning bullish again. It's a very interesting take. I'm a real estate agent, and I'm used to people, poking at me. It doesn't really hurt my feelings. But what I would say is, like, I think that the market's going to go down here in St. Louis. And I know the people that are trying to buy right now are people that just need homes. If they're starting a new family, or if they're adding to their family, or, moving on for some reason, I get it. I try not to pump the real estate market. If I were a listing agent right now, if somebody asked me right now, plainly, John, should I list my house? Yes, you should have listed it yesterday. Because I can't see how this is going to continue. Now, if you are a buyer, John, should we buy a house now? If you have to buy a house right now, buy a house. If you feel like you can hold off for 6 months, maybe hold off for 6 months. I'm just saying. I get it. But I'm not that way. Other people are. Whatever. I don't know about this. Yeah, I did it twice. I'm sorry about that. This is the broke agent on Twitter. This will be our last one. It says, are real estate agents born insane, or is it real estate that makes us insane? There are some characters that come through the real estate space. Don't kid yourself. I don't know. The story that I think is most interesting is Robert, my friend, he was writing an offer on this property that was listed by what was considered at that time a super agent. But he was doing his own deals. And Robert said that he had found some things wrong with the property. He put it in an offer, and the guy called him and cursed him out and said he was a terrible agent. And then Robert's like, well, it's just obvious, like this is the deal. And the guy, honest to God, quit. He quit real estate. He was making bank and just gave up. He's like, it's not worth it. I don't know. I'm not quitting. I've got bad days just like everyone else. Redfin, getting in the news and analysis. We'll read these three. It's Friday night. Try to get out of here, a decent time. Housing market update. Early stage home buying demand hits highest level since May. Interesting. It's from Redfin. Now, we've talked about how there's been low mortgage applications over the past week. So I don't know, what's going on here, but it says Redfin's Home Buyer Demand Index, which measures requests for tours and other buying services from our agents, jumped as prices fell for the sixth straight week and mortgage rates declined for the third week in a row, but a lack of new listings is holding back sales. We're just talking about the listing, the lack of inventory. It says house hunters are wading into the market as mortgage rates and home prices continue to decline. Mortgage rates are not declining that much, and home prices are not declining that much. So I disagree with the first sentence. Mortgage purchase applications increased for the fourth week in a row, which I've told you that I just read an article that they were the worst since like 1996. And Redfin's Home Buyer Demand Index, a seasonally adjusted measure of requests to tour homes, make an offer on a home and or start a home search with a Redfin agent jumped to its highest level since May during the week ending March 26. My phone is ringing, and it's usually a first-time buyer or investor, said San Francisco Redfin agent Ali Mafi. First-time buyers are interested in looking at homes because prices have come down, though they're still concerned about high mortgage rates. Investors who pay cash are honing in on luxury San Francisco condos because prices on those have dropped even more significantly than the overall market. San Francisco, you say. The uptick in early stage demand has yet to translate to more home sales. Pending sales dropped 19% year over year nationwide in the 4 weeks ending March 26th, the biggest decline in about 2 months. Demand for homes hasn't yet translated into an improvement in sales, mainly because would-be buyers are limited by a lack of supply. New listings of homes for sale declined 22%, one of the biggest drops since the start of the pandemic. Homeowners are reluctant to sell because they don't want to give up a low mortgage rate. This is absolutely the reason why there's low inventory. No one wants to move if they've got a 3% mortgage rate. Where are they going to move to? And move somewhere with a double the payment? The lack of new listings is causing a growing share of homes to fly off the market quickly. Nearly half the homes are selling within 2 weeks, the largest share since June. This is what I'm seeing in my market. Now, understand your market is local. Things might be totally different where you are. It says, while the scarcity of new listings is holding back sales nearly everywhere in the U.S., it's not true. U.S. prices are falling fast in some parts of the country and increasing in others. So you got like Texas, the biggest drop in Austin, San Jose, San Francisco, Sacramento, and Oakland. And then increased in Milwaukee, which is a surprise to me, Fort Lauderdale, Virginia Beach, West Palm Beach, and Providence, Rhode Island. On a national level, the median U.S. home sale price fell 1.8% year over year to $360,000, marking the sixth straight week of declines after more than a decade of increases. It says, prices are still rising quickly in some places while they are down double digits in big tech hubs. So it's important for prospective buyers to work with an expert local agent. I agree. One thing that's true almost everywhere, it's difficult to find desirable, well-priced home for sale. So offer and negotiation strategies differ depending on where you're looking. That's right. They do. There was a time when a house was listed, you'd call the agent and say, hey, is this house got any offers on it? And they'd say, no, bring your best. Bring whatever you got. I need an offer. My sellers are thinking about firing me. It's going so poorly. And so then you'd shoot a lowball offer over. But really, right around for St. Louis, it was 92% of the sales price. That was the average, 92 point of the asking price. It says leading indicators of home buying activity for the week ending March 30th, average 30-year fixed mortgage rates dropped to 6.32%. I don't agree. The daily average was 6.59% on March 30th. That was yesterday. I was at 6.57 today, so I agree with that. They do the weekly rate differently than they do the daily rate, so that's why there's a difference. Mortgage purchase applications during the week ending March 21st increased from a week earlier, but marking the fourth straight week of increases. Purchase applications were up 19% from a month earlier, but down 35% from a year earlier. And so that's what I'm saying is what I'm seeing is mortgage applications are down. People are parsing that by saying, well, this month of last year was different. Seasonally adjusted Redfin Homebuyer Demand Index, a measure of requests for home tours and other home buying services from Redfin agents, jumped to its highest level since May. Well, maybe Redfin's just doing a good job. Maybe it's got nothing to do with the market. Google searches for homes for sale were up 44% from the trough they hit in December during the weekend in March 25th, but down 17% from a year earlier. I think Google, no offense, is becoming a little bit irrelevant in our space for this particular thing. I mean, you're probably going to just Zillow now. You're probably just going to Realtor.com. You might go to Redfin if you're that way, but, I'm not. Touring activity as March 26th was up 20% from the start of the year compared with a 24% increase at the same time last year, according to home tour technology company ShowingTime. You know what, though? I don't know how accurate ShowingTime is. Let me go right here for a second. Do you know how many houses I go to now that don't have supers on them? Like you can do, like ShowingTime sets your appointments, so they do get that data. But as far as actually going to the house, like Super also has its numbers. I don't believe they're accurate at all. I'm just saying. Let's get back into it. Let me find where I need to go because I got a little bit sidetracked. Thought this was interesting. This is from Mike Delpreet. He's a real estate. He's in residence, I think, at Colorado State. He's a professor, but he follows this particular kind of like the online brokerage technology. He's probably the number one person in the United States doing that. It says market shift highlights brokerage fundamentals. And you can see here the 2021 to 2022 transaction volume. Everybody's down except for eXp Realty. 2022 was a tumultuous year. The real estate market turned, transactions dropped, and the largest U.S. brokerages were all forced to chart new courses. Why it matters: agent count, transaction volumes, and the relative growth and decline of brokerages in 2022 are all powerful predictors of future performance. Agent count continues to fuel the business of major U.S. real estate brokerages. That's right. If you own a real estate brokerage, your job is to generate agents. Like that's what you need to be doing. You need to be bringing in agents. You don't particularly care about transactions because that's why you're bringing in agents. So they do the transactions. I'm a little bit different, and I have my brokerage so that I can do what I want to with my clients and not be so influenced by the garbage that's being peddled by the brokers. It says eXp Realty is the clear standout with an exponential increase in the number of U.S. agents, which now eclipses industry incumbents anywhere and home services of America. So they've moved now. Anywhere is like Coldwell Banker, Century 21, Better Homes and Gardens, and then Home Services of America is anything like Prudential, what used to be Prudential, now it's Berkshire Hathaway. That's who that is. It says, overall growth slowed across the board in 2022, and Anywhere has seen a recent uptick in agent count, which is yet to translate into a corresponding uptick in transaction count. Well, maybe they're bringing on crappy agents. Transaction volumes and brokerage performances are directly correlated to agent count. That's right. It says, technology doesn't sell houses, agents do. That's right. That's a quote. Among its peers, eXp Realty once again outperformed the market, growing its transactions by 12% in 2022, compared to an overall market decline of 18%. eXp's largest brokerage peers all transacted less in 2022 than the year before, while Compass, also buoyed by recent agent count gain, experienced less of a decline than the traditional incumbents and Redfin. The declining market has forced companies across the industry, brokerages included, to cut costs, but those costs are unequal among peers. Cash flow and profitability dictate the speed and severity of cuts. I don't know if that's exactly true, especially with Compass. I mean, they've been given so much money, seed money, venture capital money, that they've managed to burn through so much cash. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, throughout the year, Anywhere and Compass, which have the highest operating expenses, have been forced to cut the deepest, while EXP and Douglas Eielman have increased their operating expenses from a smaller base. What to watch? Agent count growth and transaction volumes will remain sluggish in 2023. It says a further slowing of the market will force some companies to cut even deeper. It's a numbers game. Less transactions will go to fewer agents. So brokerages with strong agent count growth will outperform the market. Just look at EXP. Interesting. The bottom line, the market correction is a great equalizer and is accentuating the differences between the brokerage business models. In a market of musical chairs, with fewer chairs available, companies with sustainable models, low overheads, and strong recruiting are more likely to succeed. And I believe that's true in any market for real estate brokerage. Moving on. I just want to check. Okay. It says, LA's rich and famous and wild scramble to sell homes ahead of the mansion tax. Have you heard of this? Los Angeles has a multimillionaire tax on mansions now. It says the real estate market might be cooling nationally, or it's not. Depends. So much so that sellers are getting burned, really. Sellers have been throwing in brand new Bentleys and McLarens and drastically slashing prices in order to incentivize a quick close. That's because the so-called mansion tax goes into effect Saturday in Los Angeles, adding a 4% tax on sellers on homes that sell for between $5 and $10 million and 5.5% on amounts $10 million and above. And all I can say to you is, why would you ever want to work in a place that taxes your home more than it does the rest of the population? And I reject the idea that because people make more money, they should pay more in taxes. I reject that. So anyway, it says the change will add hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in additional new transfer taxes for sellers, which will go to support homeless housing measures Angelenos passed last November. It's ridiculous. Celebrities like Jim Carrey and Mike Wahlberg? I think it's Mark. Anyway, it says Mike here, but it says Mark there. Anyway, not to mention a slew of lesser-known multimillionaires have all rushed to dump their homes in the last few months. After 30 years in his 12,700 square foot home in Brentwood, Carey made the big decision to list it in February for $29 million. So far, there's no takers. Same with Jennifer Lopez, who put her Bel Air place up for sale in February. James Corden is willing to slash and burn the price of his Brentwood Park house, recently cutting it from $22 million to $17.95 million. But seriously, what did they pay in the first place? What did they pay in the first place? I don't care about what they're cutting it to. I mean, if James Corden, bought the house for $11 million, he's selling it for $17.95, he's just fine. But that's nothing compared to Mark Wahlberg, the TED actor, put his 30,500 square foot estate on the market months prior to the measure's passage at an eye-watering $87.5 million. But he ended up selling the Beverly Park property for $55 million, a 37% price drop in February. Multiple brokers told the Post they felt Wahlberg could have done better if not for the looming deadline of that multi-million-dollar tax bill he would have faced starting this April Fool's Day. Isn't that crazy? I mean, you tax things, you're going to get the result that you're looking for. Less of it. It's crazy out there, says Josh Altman, a luxury broker with Douglas Eielman in Los Angeles, who regularly appears on Bravo's $1 million listing. I've literally become not only a real estate agent, which I signed up for, but now I'm a yacht salesman, a car broker, and a wholesale furniture salesman, instead of the enticement sellers are offering to lure buyers. That's what it comes down to. Altman said that after 2 decades in the real estate business, he's had the record month of his career, despite otherwise lackluster home sales numbers across the region. In the past 72 hours alone, Altman says he closed roughly 20 deals. Understand that most agents don't do 20 deals. Well, the average agent does about 20 deals a year, okay? And that is like not multi-million-dollar homes. In March, he sold $205 million, nearly doubling the typical sales of $104 million a month his team hits as the top sellers in the country. My God. $104 million a month. Last month he did 205. Can you imagine? I cannot. People need to get as creative as possible to motivate the buyer to close before this tax goes into effect. A lot of times it's a cut your losses type approach. Maybe throwing in a Lamborghini that costs $350,000 is going to save you from paying $600,000 in taxes. So you might as well do it. Wow. Altman even offered a $1 million bonus for a buyer's agent on top of the regular commission to try and unload a 7-bedroom Bel Air mansion listed for $27,995,000. My God. While it went into counteroffers, the home isn't going to close in time to meet the deadline. Still, Altman considers offering the incentive a win because lots of agents showed up to check out the place and potential deals are progression. Tyler McMillan, a broker with the luxury agent official, ooh, that sounds big, the agency, said he completed a whirlwind 48-hour close Wednesday, the fastest he's ever done. It was for a 6-bedroom, 11,000 square foot home in Windsor Square that was restored by designer Jake Arnold. It dates back to 1917 and boasts, love when real estate agents boasts, its own Prohibition-era speakeasy bar. The selling price, $16 million, down from the initially listed ask of about $20 million. There's been a bit of frenzy over the last weeks, McKillen said, noting that he even just sold his own home. He's done an impressive 5 deals on pricey homes in the past few weeks. Nothing compared to that other agent. All 5 were closed with a term in the contract that the deal would either cancel or be increased by the 5.5% tax. Should escrow get delayed beyond this week? Well, that's very interesting. The mansion tax has led to quite a few Hail Mary marketing approaches, said Tatiana Devorozis, a luxury agent with Keller Williams in Beverly Hills. Take the developer selling a 5-bedroom, 8-bath Mulholland Drive mansion in the coveted 90210 zip code. Ooh, for $16.5 million, you can get the luxury home and the luxury vehicle of your choice within the fleet that we have through O'Gara Coach Company, a Beverly Hills luxury car dealer. The deal includes vehicles priced up to roughly $400,000, including an Aston Martin Vantage, Aston Martin DBX 707, McLaren GT, or Bentley Bentayga, the extended wheelbase version. The strategy was to create an offering to a buyer in this range that loves a luxury vehicle, luxury home, maybe has luxury watches, luxury yachts. She know the home itself is a car home with 1,300 square foot subterranean auto gallery. Just for comparison, my home is 1,485 square feet. The garage is almost bigger than my house. The home has attracted international interest with buyers reaching out from Germany and Mexico and some flying in from Hong Kong to view the home, but it hasn't sold yet. Come Saturday, the deal is off the table, but Derivation jumps in to quickly note anything is negotiable, everything. She said her sellers are resigned to paying the tax at this point. Says, we're probably going to have to pay it because it's very hard to squeeze in a purchase before April 1st. Absolutely. What seems so unfair is our properties in Beverly Hills 90210, but is considered the neighborhood of Beverly Hills Post Office. It technically sits in the city of LA that gets that tax, but 2 miles down from us, they don't get taxed. They're the city of Beverly Hills. There's plenty of grumbling among sellers and their agents who believe the tax will scare developers away, trickle down and impact workers in the local economy, and ultimately lead to less development. It's a strange irony to incentivize home builders in order to combat a homeless crisis that is one of the worst in the nation. Absolutely. It's absolutely ridiculous. He and other brokers note that a $5 million home in Los Angeles is hardly a mansion given the rise in property values through the pandemic, and that many homes that will hit $5 million mansion mark in the years to come. What you're going to see is a lack of inventory because sellers aren't going to want to take the hit because of the tax. They might not want to sell because they're in lower interest rates and interest rates are too high. Sullivan believes that demand will continue to creep up and that it will eventually even out the cost of the new tax, but that will take roughly 4 to 6 months. Meanwhile, the next 8 weeks will be very telling, but just off the deals I've been doing in negotiating and closing, these are deals I never would have thought would have closed for as low of price as they are now. So, I don't know. I mean, basically move to Beverly Hills if you're in Los Angeles tax zone area. That's the answer to your question. That solves your problem. My gosh, we did it. We had a good show tonight. We got Rumble up and running. Now, look, I'm going to turn off my stream, but I don't know if the stream on Rumble is going to end. So it's going to be a little screwy this time. After tonight, I'll know. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for helping me get on to Rumble. Please follow, share, subscribe. Help me out. Let me get some subscribers. Let me be monetized on YouTube. Let Rumble grow. And let's just get down to it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or Sunday. I have no idea at this point. I'll try to get a notice out or a warning out on my Twitter page, my Twitter feed. That's going to be the best bet. So with that, I'm heading out. Thank you very much. Good night.